Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining myself, Dawn, Mona, and Judy. And Judy, thanks for inviting us for
Sure.
this discussion of the Utah versus Kouri Richins in the Eric Richins case, which has been, wow, what a week already. I mean, there have been so many gaspy kind of moments for me just in
Mhm.
the first week. Usually for a trial, you'll get a couple of those within like 3 or 4 weeks, but I am like surprised at how many kind of epic, maybe decision altering for the jury moments they've already been.
Yeah,
I've watched every minute of it. I was having to do it like at night and stuff, but I got finally caught up today. So, have you watched every minute of it, you two?
I haven't had time. I wish
Uh,
I could, but I,
yeah.
I feel like I've watched like maybe like 40%.
Mm-hmm.
I've been watching summaries on Gossip, Rumor, Innuendo, which is great. Thank you,
Yes.
Kathy. Please
Mhm.
subscribe to her. And Prof. Joe Explains has also been doing live commentary, so I've watched
Oh,
some
that's
of
great.
it. Yeah, what about you, Mona?
I think I may have watched the entirety of it, but not in in the order it was meant to
Ah,
be watched in.
right.
So I watched the first day, the judge, and I've watched all the years of hearings
I have too.
and
Every
the
hearing.
two sets
Yep.
of attorneys. So that's
Yeah.
been interesting. And I did watch in order, like the first three witnesses, and then I just watched I have watched it all, but not in a row and at a high speed sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
mean,
too.
I'm watching the Colin Gray trial, and that's going to go to the jury on Monday. And
Oh,
Oh,
that is an excellent trial if anybody's interested. That's happening in Georgia. It's very interesting.
what's that about? Haven't
It's
heard
about
about
a
that.
father being held responsible for his 14-year-old son doing a school pew pew.
Oh, okay.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he
Yeah.
supplied the weapons and ignored a lot of pleas for help
Mm,
mentally.
okay.
So it's interesting. It's way
Mm,
different than the Crumbly for how it went down, but it's I'm curious to see how the jury will take it.
mhm. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a hard one to watch. I can't say I will say I lied a little. I haven't watched all of this trial. I've listened to it because I
sure,
couldn't
sure.
just to be
You're
clear.
busy.
Wait a
Yes,
minute.
yes.
Three
Multi
demerits, three demerits for you
I
because
just
there's
realized.
so much happening in the facial expressions.
Oh, I'm
It's
watching
so
some of it.
interesting.
Yes. Oh, for
Um,
sure. For sure.
Corey's not a good poker player, and
Yeah,
uh,
that's true. I
and
saw
and
some of the
and
faces
and
she was making. Yeah.
Eric's sister definitely showed how angry she was in her facial expressions, which I think colors the testimony a little bit.
It can. It can. Although
Uh-huh.
I do think it just depends on the juror. They might expect that. It's, the heat
Yeah,
from a sister. But
the victim's sister.
the way that Corey is staring down the witnesses I don't think that's a great look for her.
Hmm.
It's a bit much. I'm surprised. Maybe she can't help it. I can't help my face. Like do not have a poker face at all, and I kind of understand that. But she she it's coming off as pretty harsh, like she's almost intimidating. It would be for me, I think, intimidating.
Yeah. Well,
Have you watched her look at the? I've watched her more look at the jurors a lot, which
Hmm.
I don't know if that. I can't tell because I'm not in the room. It's so different being
Hmm.
in the room. I'd be curious to see what a trial watcher thinks about how they're reacting.
mhm.
Right, did you hear about that sketch artist sketching the
Hmm.
jury and getting kicked out? Like, what
Yeah,
were they
she's not
thinking?
right. Yeah, they shouldn't do that to
No,
impede the privacy of jurors. Yeah.
right, right. Well,
Well,
I
I
think it says something about the juror, the way the judge read the note and
hmm
how it's like they are definitely going to tell on anybody if they do anything wrong. So I appreciate that we have a tattletale in the jury in
Yeah.
case any jurors
For
do
sure.
anything inappropriate.
Yeah.
Hi,
Dawn,
everyone in the chat, by the way.
oh, Dawn, I was wondering if you could give a quick summary of this case for people who aren't familiar with the
Oh,
whole
sure,
thing.
sure.
Yeah,
Okay,
thank
okay.
you.
So this is state of Utah. So this happened outside, I believe it's Park City, which is outside of Salt Lake. If anyone knows, it's a really beautiful ski area where they lived. Very nice. And Eric came from a family of, they have a ranch, so, and he had a successful business. He was married to Kouri Richins, and they had children together. And he, um, a, a lot of things happened, but ultimately he died of a fentanyl, excuse me, overdose. And the allegations are that Corey poisoned him to murder him. She was having an affair. She had some very bizarre behavior right after his death, like right after, including some very strange memes talking about expressing how dumb everyone was. So
Wow.
it was like, yeah, like she got by with something. And so far, there have been, for the state, there have been some great witnesses for the first week. We're in week 1, so they just finished one whole week. I think it started on Monday, so it was exactly 1 week. The state has put up a very good doctor, a toxicologist who I thought was excellent. Sometimes I get a little creeped out by by some of the doctors, but a very good toxicologist. I'm really interested in what you guys think. And then a couple of witnesses for the state who were involved in the transaction selling illicit drugs to Corey, the accused. And so the allegation is that they sold her the drugs and she used them to spike Eric's drink, which was a Moscow Mule, which I guess is important. It was a Moscow Mule. And that's the allegation, that she spiked his drink. The fentanyl appears in his stomach, not in his, I mean, it's in his bloodstream, but it's going to be in his bloodstream once it's ingested anyway. So let's see. And then there was one other, there was a lot of peaks and valleys leading up to the trial. So the hearings, as Mona said, were just incredible to watch. But here we are. I'm not sure that these witnesses for the state, who are the drug dealers who got deals, are really doing them a whole lot of favors. What do you guys think about the Miss Carmen and Mr. Robert so far?
Well, both of them seem to have poor memory and seem to be shady. But sort of, I did feel sorry for Carmen, though.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
didn't she feel remorseful? She felt bad when
Yes.
she found out Eric died. I mean,
Yes.
she didn't purposely want to kill him,
No.
right? She was just convinced by Corey, thinking that Corey wanted drugs, right? Or
Right.
needed
It was for her.
Said it was for one of her clients.
Right.
Ah,
Right. That's
okay.
right.
Yeah. So also, isn't it true Corey is accused of trying to poison her husband by giving him a sandwich on Valentine's Day?
And
Previously.
a drink in
Yes.
Greece that's not allowed in the trial. So
What?
there were two, a drink in Greece when they were on vacation.
Oh, in
And then
Greece,
a
the country. Oh, it's like
Yes.
Greece. What?
not a drink of goo. But they wouldn't, that wasn't allowed in. But the
Oh.
sandwich, the Valentine's Day sandwich that he got sick from, did maybe or maybe didn't use an EpiPen and some other allergy meds. And Corey was spending the day with her boyfriend. And Eric's like texting her, if I don't get better, I'm going to go to the hospital. And she's
Right.
just off having a good time. And also, Dawn, the other thing I thought was notable, if somebody's not familiar with the trial, is her forgery, her theft from his
Oh,
account.
sure. That's all about the
And
motivation.
yeah, they have, even though you don't need motive, this trial is all
Hmm.
about motive.
Hmm.
And
Right.
it's so provable. But I don't know. I mean, I thought both of the drug addicts weren't, I thought the male was kind of a ding dong, nasty guy.
I have another word for him starting with D, but I won't say what it is.
Well, I was trying to be
Yeah.
YouTube friendly. Um, but he just seemed like he wanted to give everybody a hard time, very unlikable. From the TV screen, he
Right.
looked not believable.
Yeah, real
And I
shifty.
don't think he helped either side. And I don't, as a nurse and a sister of a former drug addict, I don't see what the big deal is about buying pills from a street dealer. That's could be fentanyl. Fentanyl. They don't know. You don't know what you're getting. That's the whole problem, you know?
Right.
So,
He seemed to be very certain though. I think this could hurt them because he seemed to be very certain that he wasn't dealing fentanyl until after a certain year.
well,
And so
yeah, but he came
that
up
was
with
the
that.
problem. That was
You
the
know what the
problem.
big
I'm just
problem
saying.
is? The detectives on this case. If this case is lost, it's the way it was investigated by being bullies and
Yeah,
not,
so
some
there's
of
an
them not doing everything correctly.
yes, they showed police interview video of the detectives with Carmen, one of the dealers who is testifying for the state in exchange for a deal on her charges. And they basically said, and I wrote it down, the quote, but basically give us what we need so that we can convict Corey. It was pretty specific. Then that's coercion. That's not great. That's not a great look. So they're going to have to figure out how to get out of that. I'm sure that those. I'm guessing they're going to have them testify and just do a mea culpa, like I shouldn't have phrased it that way. I was being inarticulate or whatever. But that was not a good look. So the defense had some really good moments already in the first week, even though it's the case in chief for the prosecution. So that's what I mean. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and it's been, you don't see that much usually in an entire trial, let alone the first few days. So it was pretty cool.
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're
a lot.
interested.
Judy, did
Mhm.
you see the in-between witness that was the either wife or girlfriend of another person Corey allegedly asked for
Oh,
fentanyl
no.
from?
No, I didn't
That
see that.
was super short.
Oh.
I thought very credible. And it was interesting that she had a negative experience with the bully investigators too. And
Right,
it didn't
Oh.
matter because she's like, I'm just here to tell the truth. Leave me alone.
Oh.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, so what did you ladies think about the body cam of Corey the night of Eric's death after she called 911 and they came in? Of course, the police all had body cam on and they were discussing with her what was going on, what kind of medications he might taking, had he been sick, that kind of thing. What did you think of that body cam and her body language? I do have a little clip to share, but I'm just curious what your general impression was. She was holding her face and kind of covering her
You couldn't even
entire,
see it. Her whole face was in her hands and she was bent over, like hysterical crying or
not really
seemingly.
crying. Did you think
I
she
don't even
sounded
know.
like Wendy? There were
Yeah,
no tears.
I was just about to say that. It was just like Wendy in the police interview,
It
like,
was, I know. And when you see the clip I have here, it's like, is it the same person? Now, I don't have the sound on the clip because I wanted to focus on the body language. But one of the things I noticed while one of the officers was speaking with her once her mom got there, and by the way, what did you think of her mom?
sorry, I
Oh,
missed that.
please. Just, does everybody know the background of this,
No,
of
tell us.
Corey's mom?
I do, but share,
For
please.
the most interesting background is that Corey's mom's either lover or partner died
Oh,
of
yeah.
some kind of drug
Mysterious.
overdose
Mm-hmm.
situation.
Mm-hmm.
And Corey and her mom are super tight, as evidenced by the walk the dog letter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that I find very interesting because it's such a, I think true crime wise, Judy and Dawn, you can tell me if I'm correct. It's normal. It's a very female to male kind of, are we allowed to say the M word?
I
The
think so.
elimination,
Red rum.
Yeah.
like the
Red rum.
poison someone is a
Yeah.
very female way of doing things.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
just like, I see why she didn't get divorced, but most of the time, just get a divorce. She wouldn't have had anything, and she doesn't now, and she's in jail waiting.
I thought it was interesting to see her mom mentally like she woke her mom up from sleep. Her mom drives over. Evidently, she lives fairly close. And I was looking at her mother, and her mother looked like half asleep, half stunned, and half, well, a third, I guess, trying to keep up. And you could see her processing in her head what happened. And then all of a sudden, her mom's like offering, well, he had allergy shots yesterday in Park City. So her mom's starting to offer up potential things that might have happened to Eric, knowing full well likely what they were dealing with, I would guess. And whether she knew about it ahead of time or not, but I felt like I could just see her calculations going on in her head right next to her. She had the funniest look on her face. I thought it was
all invasive, and she was kind of lurching, like,
Yeah.
why should she? Nobody should have even been in that scene. I thought that was a super poor choice of how the investigators handled an unusual passing, because they should have not let all those people in. It was like a Murdoch thing. Everybody come on in to the house and eat and drink, and bring some more kids in and other people and traipse around. And where are those Moscow Mule cups that they did have?
Right.
And John, my opinion of that is so you couldn't see all the smashed up blue or purple powder through the copper cup.
Yeah.
Right. So she got rid of the
Ginger
cups.
and lime could have gotten rid of the aftertaste.
What was that? Sorry.
The ginger and lime.
The ginger and lime. Right.
goes in
Sure.
aftertaste.
Sure. I love
Oh,
a
I
good
wanna
Moscow
do that.
meal.
I've never had one.
Oh, they're really
Time.
good. I love ginger beer too. Well, let me quick share this before we let's see if I can.
That's
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Go ahead.
super cool what's going on with Allison, by the way. I was reading.
Yeah. Thank you, Allison.
Yes, I've been wondering. I'd love an update.
Yeah. Thank you. Please subscribe. Please support her. Some things have been going on in
Oh,
the
good.
case against her father, Patrick Alfani, recently. There was some sort of short hearing where he was denied bail. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. That's
Is that real or AI?
no, this is
That's
real.
crazy.
I did not edit anything. I did slow this down at the end just so you could really see her tongue. I was like, what do I make of this?
What
And
is
doesn't
wrong?
she look like
weird.
Wendy? I mean, she looks like
Yeah,
Wendy
sort of,
there.
with the skinny face, the skinny
Well, the
face.
hair, the messy hair,
Yeah.
and the sound. I mean,
That is so bizarre.
I know. No, this is not altered at all. Zero.
Which part is it? Like the beginning, middle,
It was
or end?
toward the end when
Oh,
just
okay. So she was getting tired of leaning all the way down. Okay.
it was toward the end, and then at some point she kind of flopped forward, and then she walked up, got up and walked out. So I just was like, I don't know what to make of it. So what do you guys all think of the tongue? Like,
She is so
Oh, well, the behavior, people that analyze behavior say that anything in the mouth like that is a self-soothing
right, that makes sense.
behavior.
I mean, I
Yeah.
can't help but laugh. She looks ridiculous like that.
It's so bizarre. I just couldn't stop staring at her, and then I'm staring at her, and I'm like, is she sticking her tongue out? What is happening?
Or maybe, do you think it's her way of kind of having duper's delight? Like, nah, I pulled one over you. I don't know.
Totally could be, Judy, because of the images. When the police left at 8:30 in the morning, which is at the end of Brad Bloodworth's opening, he shows the 3 images that she looked up on her phone.
Right.
One was somebody smearing money in their face.
Yep.
One was, what was the second one?
About people being so dumb.
You're all idiots.
Yep.
And the third one was a meme of somebody that I don't like talking about, saying I'm rich.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And she was in debt, like $4
Yeah.
million in debt
Right.
or something.
So
Yeah.
so that was kind of important.
Yeah.
So isn't she also accused of forging her husband's signature on some documents for what a
Yeah.
he
Mm-hmm.
She stole money from an account,
uh
and she opened either one or four extra what was it? Uh
Hmm?
what Dawn, help me, my brain
I'm
just
sorry. I was watching the comments. I'm sorry. What did you
oh,
say?
that's okay. She took out extra life insurance policies.
Oh,
Yes. Yes.
And she stole money from his business, which is why he went
Mm-hmm.
to an attorney and changed everything to be in a trust for his sons.
Right. Now, some of you also, and I forgot to leave this detail out in my summary, but she's also known as the woman who wrote the grief for how to grieve a lost parent for your
Are you
child.
with me?
Are you with me? For her children that inspired her, and then she's doing the talk show circuit and that kind of thing, writing a book about grieving for her children. So it's really quite next level planning for her. But she was doing anything for money at that point. So yeah, super
devious and narcissistic.
super planned out, and lots of evidence that she had tried this previously. And even Eric said, I think she's trying to poison me. We haven't gotten to that testimony yet, though, so I shouldn't say that. But he did.
Oh, right. He said it to two of his friends.
Yeah.
And he said it, the other one, he said it previously that they're not letting in. And I
Right.
just love the judge so much.
Great judge. Wendy wrote a book also. Yeah, that's right. Cat tried.
Right.
There are so many similarities. I didn't. It's funny you don't pick up on those right away, and then you start watching these trials, and you start seeing some of the similarities with other criminals, or alleged criminals, I should say.
Well,
Yeah.
Innocent until proven guilty. So there's the face.
Yeah.
The face that's staring at you while you testify. What?
Her credit that she didn't have the prison glow down, as Kathy would say, because most of these defendants, after being in jail, they tend to gain weight and look horrible after a year or two. So she still looks pretty decent, you know.
have you seen the prison she's in? It's like kind of open and couple of floors and separate rooms. I think Utah that may be why Lori wanted to go back to Utah, that the prison was better there than in Arizona.
I think she wanted to go back to Idaho.
Oh, right.
It was Idaho because of the home cooking.
But
that's it. Yeah, I know they're all these criminals. She's wearing her hair very severe and matronly, and all of her clothes are quite matronly, like super conservative, like something. I don't even know if my mother would wear these since she's 90, but she does look like okay. She's just not wearing. She's not looking as attractive.
That was yesterday's, and I thought that was the most unattractive of the 3 or 4 outfits.
Well, this one's black and white, but they've all had like this weird pleating in front and the high collar, and
like a clown
either a
shirt.
cardigan or a jacket. Yeah, so
That's hard about true crime. I try so hard to not go there when you're watching something, of thinking about how many looks or acts or dresses, but it's very difficult.
well, it does make an impression. It makes an impression on the jury, and that's why I'm interested in it. Not to judge her or shame her outfit. It's to see if I were a juror, how that would impact me, or how might it be impacting those jurors because she's dressed so conservatively.
Yeah. Well, she does look professional. She doesn't look, whacked out like some crazy murderous type of person.
Right.
Yeah, she looks put together.
So are we under the impression that all the CBD, the CBD gummies were hers, not Eric's, and she was taking a lot of that, and maybe, because somebody did comment, and it passed through, but that could also account for her sticking out her tongue and her holding her face and stuff if she was a little bit under the influence of
Maybe
THC.
she had a little bit of the licky lick off the fentanyl powder.
Oh my gosh.
So she could sleep for enough hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows? who knows? That was a lot. She received a lot of drugs that did not all go into that one drink or
That's
that
right.
one sandwich.
Oh, and by the way, so far the toxicologist did testify that Eric also had a very significant amount of antipsychotic medication that was prescribed to her in his stomach.
Quetiapine, yeah.
Right.
And it
So in
wasn't really
addition,
that much. It was about a half a pill.
it was, oh really? It was in addition to the fentanyl, of course, but
Yeah,
I thought they said it was a significant amount.
well, a significant amount to find it, but it interacts with narcotics and other drugs
Sure, I would
exponentially.
think. In
I'm
other
very
words,
familiar with that drug.
but that was interesting because that means she's on antipsychotic medicine. I'm like, oh, so she's on antipsychotic medicine and she's taking THC and who knows what other street drugs because she's constantly asking for street drugs from her friends. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting.
So strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can we go ahead and
Yes.
play some of this open?
Let's go.
And maybe we'll pause every 4 minutes or so to give some commentary then. And I finally sprang for YouTube Premium. So
Yay,
oh my gosh.
Judy!
Yeah.
She
I
buckled
finally-
under the pressure.
Yeah.
Peer pressure went out.
Yeah, the peer pressure.
I was going to see if I could put you on my account and I kept forgetting I needed to do
Oh,
that.
a family account. Right.
Just because I was so cheap. So yeah, I don't think she's going to testify. I think that's
I doubt
usually
it.
a mistake for defendants if there's tons of evidence against them.
I
Yeah.
hope she testifies.
I know,
That
wouldn't it be
guy-
great?
The guy in the trial, the last two trials I watched, I did not think the people would testify, and they both did. And
Yeah.
it's
Like
crazy.
Banfield.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Banfield and that guy Colin Gray just got off the stand, 2 days on the stand.
It's always an option, but so far the defense is holding their own. I'm not a real fan of their personalities, to be honest. If I were a juror, I don't want to take up much more time because we won't watch the clip. But the lead defense attorney, Nestor, she seems like she's talking over the judge a little bit, talking down to the judge a little bit. In my opinion, she's definitely connecting with the jury, but I think she's overstepped a little bit, and I am very sensitive to that. Not just because he's the judge, but just is coming off a little bit pushy. The second chair, which you can see right here, sitting there, Wendy is her first name. I forgot her second. Lewis. She sounds like she inhaled helium, and she reminds me of Jackie Fulford having inhaled helium. Like that is.
Wait, and Jackie Fulford is also in the other one, the main attorney, because she just got
In
this
what
whole
one?
y'all thing. She
In what
like
other?
I'm saying, Jack, the lead attorney for
Oh,
Kouri.
right, because she's saying
She's
y'all.
gotten a whole bunch of y'all trouble, and she's
Right.
trying to
And then that-
ingratiate herself to
And
the
then that
jury.
third defense attorney, the male, who it appears like it's
Oh my
maybe the
God.
first time we've seen him, but he is so over the top, like Perry
He's an
Mason,
attack dog.
dramatic. So anyway, that's all I want to say. It's been quite a while.
Okay, let's play this. Okay, thank you.
It is the evening of March the 3rd, 2022. The defendant, Kouri Richins, her husband, Eric Richins, and their 3 children, 9-year-old Carter, 7-year-old Ashton, and 5-year-old Weston, are at their home in Camas. Eric Richins lived for his 3 boys. At 7:22 p.m., Kouri Richins' boyfriend, Robert Josh Grossman, texts Kouri Richins an image of 2 people romantically kissing. The image is captioned, "Love you." At 8:36, Kouri Richins replies, "Love you." The boys go to bed. Kouri Richins makes Eric a drink and takes it to him in their bedroom. He drinks on the bed. She departs the bedroom. Kouri Richins returns to the bedroom at about 3:00 a.m. She feels that Eric is cold. She nudges him. He does not respond. She sees that he is stiff and pale. His mouth is wide open. At 3:06 a.m., Kouri Richins unlocks her cell phone. She travels 243 feet beginning at 3:08 a.m. She unlocks her cell phone again at 3:10, 3:15, and twice at 3:19. At 3:21, Kouri Richins unlocks her cell phone and calls 911. Paramedics respond, but they are unable to revive Eric. He has no pulse, he is cold. They pronounce him dead at 3:58 a.m. on March the 4th, but they think he has been dead a while. My name again is Brad Bloodworth. I am one of Summit County's criminal prosecutors who, along with Lindsay Shervinack and Fred Burmester, will present to you the state of Utah's aggravated murder case against Kouri Darden Richins for causing the poisoning death of her husband and the father of her 3 children, Eric Richins. The state will also prove to you that 2 weeks before murdering Eric Richins, Kouri Richins attempted to murder him. And 2 weeks before that, by fraud and forgery, she took out an insurance policy on his life. Jackson Boulevard. 2 weeks before attempting to murder Eric Richins, Kouri Richins took out an insurance policy by fraud and forgery on Eric's life. And 2 weeks after Eric died, she submitted a fraudulent claim on yet another insurance policy. In this opening statement, I will summarize for you some of the evidence that the state will present over the next few days, perhaps weeks, so that you have a framework to assemble and analyze all of the evidence. The evidence will prove that Kouri Richins murdered Eric for his money and to get a fresh start at life. More than anything, she wanted his money to perpetuate her facade of privilege, affluence, and success. Kouri Richins owned a house flipping business. She would purchase, rehab, and resell homes. She presented herself to friends and business associates as remarkably successful. The evidence will prove that on the day that Eric died, Kouri Richins owed over $4.5 million to over 20 different lenders. And she did not have the ability to service that debt because her bank accounts were exhausted and her credit was exhausted. She had been taking out new loans to include payday loans to service existing loans, but her new credit was drying up. In the 5 months leading to Eric Richins' death, Kouri Richins overdrafted over 200 transactions, totaling over $300,000. And on the day that Eric died, Kouri Richins was scheduled to close on an unfinished and derelict mansion in Midway, and thus take on an additional $3.2 million in debt. She did not have the financial ability to service that debt, to rehab the mansion, or to hold on to it long enough to resell it. The mansion may appear impressive from a distance, but upon close inspection, it is just a facade. On the other hand, on the day that Eric died, his estate was worth over $4 million. And the evidence will prove that Kouri Richins believed she would inherit it all. She believed that she would inherit Eric's $2 million interest in a stonemasonry business, an interest that a prenuptial agreement prevented her from getting any part of if they divorced, but permitted her to get all of if Eric died while they were married. She believed that she would inherit the $1 million or so dollar home that they lived in, but that Eric owned separate and apart from her. And she believed that she would benefit from nearly $2 million in insurance on Eric's life, to include the $100,000 policy that she took out a few weeks before he died. Now, for Kouri Richins' fresh start at life motive. This motive overlaps with her money motive. She needed Eric Richins' money to get her fresh start at life. The evidence will prove that Kouri Richins was chronically unhappy in her marriage. She thought that having children would make her happier, but it did not. She consulted with a divorce attorney in the months leading up to Eric's death. 3 months before Eric's death, Kouri Richins booked a $4,000, 5 nights, all-inclusive vacation for her and her boyfriend, Robert Josh Grossman, at the Secrets St. Martin's Resort and Spa in the Caribbean. They were to check in the month after Eric died.
Okay, this is what I don't get. They had 3 young children, right? 3 little boys. So who's taking care of them while she's running around with her boyfriend and taking trips?
I don't know.
Maybe
Do
they're
we
in school?
Huh?
school?
Maybe they're in school. I
Some.
mean, also the kids spent a lot of time with their grandfather, Eric's
That's true.
dad,
Grandfather.
on his cattle ranch.
Right.
They had the whole place
Yep.
decked out for whatever those kids wanted to do.
Right.
So, and then I'm sure that the cousins that were close in age probably hung out together. He had a lot of family.
Close family.
Well,
Like they
that's
were
the
very
Her
tight
mom,
knit.
her mom, you could be right.
I know. I was almost went there, and I'm like, I hope not. I hope not.
Yeah, I heard that she took out insurance policies on the kids. How old were the kids when she allegedly killed Eric?
I think 10, 7, and 5, something like that.
Oh, so
Somewhere
Pretty
still
little.
pretty
Yeah.
young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sad.
Oh,
It's
They had
really
a kid
sad.
before they got married, and this was Eric's second marriage.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Is it true that Eric was also looking into a divorce?
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. I think there been evidence. I think I'm not sure if they've had testimony about that yet, but yes, that is true. According to the pretrial hearings and the evidence brought up.
Right. I'm like, no, yes, they did.
I know, right?
I'm still back
We're
with
way
Sky.
ahead of things. Yeah.
I was the original attorney. It was so entertaining. I couldn't even.
Sky Lazaro, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she was amazing to watch.
Hmm.
Mm.
But these attorneys, she did well. The public defenders program did a good job finding her some good attorneys for sure. These
They are. If something happened to me, I would want these people to fight for me. They are vicious,
yeah,
and that's how
Yeah.
how they should be.
they are exactly what a defense attorney should pretty much be. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how it works.
What do you guys think of him, the prosecutor? I think he's
Love.
doing a good job. He speaks pretty slowly, though. That's why I'm thinking, should I speed it up?
Yeah, I was saying. Yeah, I sent you a message. Speed it up a little bit. Yeah, I like him, and I like that he's not objecting every 5 seconds like a lot of attorneys, I shouldn't say prosecutors, would. He's just letting he's not showing that the progress that the defense is making. I think it looks like he was prepared for some of these hits, and he's just, I think that they have a case to present over the next couple of weeks. And so what happened this week, even though they took some hits, they were prepared for that. They knew it was going to happen, but they're going to have enough to overcome it. That is my guess. But it's not going to be slam dunk like some people think.
Oh, I don't even know if they'll get a conviction.
Right,
Because of
exactly. Right.
the way some of it was the investigation. But Brad
Right.
Bloodworth
I think they will.
surprised me so much on how I thought his opening was excellent.
Mhm.
And he is not dumbing down the jury, and he's looking at everybody and he's making sure he's painting a picture and telling a story that makes sense. So I thought it was excellent. Actually, it was respectful, it was calm, and he basically sunk Kouri with her own words.
Right. So it's the defense's job to make everybody forget about what he said in the opening. Plus, the opening isn't proof. It's, they still have to provide evidence, but they've done a pretty good job of distracting so far, I think. So, but I like that the prosecution, I'm like, why isn't he objecting more? And I'm like, actually, I like this. He's not being super defensive. They knew this was coming. They're just going to take the hits.
Oh, I think he was not objecting, if you're talking about the drug dealers, was because it was so confusing how
that too.
attorney was
gosh.
asking. My God, that was
that too.
So
For
he
sure.
just let it roll because he seems extremely intelligent, and when he's dealing with the judge, it's his manner where he doesn't rush to speak, and you can see his brain actually clicking through a whole law review when he's trying to speak for himself. He's very careful.
Yeah, he's been very careful. Exactly. That's exactly what he is. Yep, holding back.
Do you like him, Judy? Do you like his style?
Yeah. I mean, other than speaking a little bit too slowly, he seems totally calm and very professional. So that's good. And shout out to Jim here. Thank you for your support. He's actually a retired attorney who's from, I don't know, somewhere up in the Northeast or something. So it's cool to get your feedback too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I agree. Yeah, it's been pretty bumpy week, that's for sure, the first week. But I think they're going to, I'm guessing they're going to recover. I think he plans to recover. Let's put it that way. We'll see what happens.
Well, are we going to hear from the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend now?
Someone in the chat said he's testifying. Is he next? I don't know who's next. I don't know who's next.
No, I just mean testifying. He would have to because he's used
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm super interested in hearing from him.
It's definitely a must-watch day. So.
And Ben Starr says, I'm a lawyer. Ask me anything.
Oh, that's cool.
All right.
Cool. Okay, well, tell us your opinion on this case then. Okay,
unless it's a joke, but and Julia says yes, the boyfriend.
Thank you. I didn't want to totally out you in case you didn't want people to know who you are. So thank you.
Like criminal attorneys, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think he said that he was a criminal attorney.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought he did like real estate or corporate law.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you tell us, Jim. Thank you.
Jim, what did you specialize in?
Yeah.
Does the boyfriend?
Fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's not over yet.
Yeah, it's not over.
Have they met their burden? We're not done yet. Please don't decide now, because you wouldn't make a good juror if you're just deciding before the case has already handed it to you. So
does the boyfriend or
we have so many attorneys
have a record? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know.
The other thing I like to, like Mona, I like to watch all of the pre-trial hearings that are available, but I also like to convince myself that I can still pretend like I'm not influenced, and I'm not, like, if I'm sitting on that jury, what would I be thinking right now? So I'm not prejudging it, and I think that a lot of people, I think it's more fun for me personally, and I learn more when I approach watching trials that way.
Mm-hmm.
Marty thinks I've made my mind up before every trial, but I am
you have. It's obvious. I'm with Marty on that. Yeah.
I didn't know anything about the Banfield trial, and I just watched it raw. I was super curious about, my God. But anyway, I'm interested in the law of the one I talked about, the Colin Gray trial that's going to jury.
And
it's
Melissa,
fascinating. We have so many attorneys in this.
Yeah, Melissa Navin says her daughter is an attorney too. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Too many attorneys, right? I feel like there are too many law schools.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you would know, Judy.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, well, let's continue then.
Yeah, you could probably speed him up a little bit more.
Okay, I did.
3 weeks before Eric's death, 15 days before Eric's death, 1 day before the charged attempted murder, Kouri Richins text message Josh Grossman, if I was divorced right now and asked you to marry me tomorrow, you would? I just want to lay on the couch and cuddle you. Watch a murder documentary and snuggle. 5 days after the charged attempted murder and 11 days before the charged murder, Kouri Richins text messaged Josh Grossman, babe, I miss you. I want you today, every day. Not just sexually, but physically, mentally, every day when I wake up. I do want a future together. I do want you. Figure life out together. If he could just go away and you could just be here, life would be so perfect. I love you. I don't know what my deal is today. I'm sorry. 9 days after the charged attempted murder, 1 week before the charged murder, Kouri Richins text messaged her boyfriend, I have a crazy dream. You quit your job, I divorce and come up with millions and millions. We buy Midway and live in the guest house and rent out the huge house as a big event center. $15,000 a day like they charge down the road, maybe $12,000 to stay competitive. And we will just run the event center as our daily job and hang out every day, raise some kids, have a little farm, deal? Just over 2 weeks after Eric Richins' death, Kouri Richins text messaged her boyfriend a link to the secret St. Martin's resort and spa in the Caribbean and asked, are we there yet? 1 month and 5 days after Eric Richins' death, Kouri Richins texted, I think I want you to be my husband one day. Now for the attempted murder charge. Carmen Lawver was a house cleaner who worked for Kouri Richins' aunt's house cleaning company. She cleaned Kouri Richins' house. She knew Kouri Richins for nearly 9 years. Kouri Richins knew that Carmen Lawver had a criminal history involving drugs. The evidence will prove that on February the 11th, 2022, 3 days before the charged attempted murder, Carmen Lawver, at Kouri Richins' request, purchased illicit pills from a street drug dealer who was a friend of a friend. And she gave those pills to Kouri Richins. That street dealer's name is Robert Crozier, and he sold Carmen Lawver the pills at a draper in Maverick. 3 days later, on Valentine's Day, Kouri Richins purchased a sandwich from the Mirror Lake Diner and left it for Eric Richins. She then departed Camas and met up with Josh Grossman an hour away. At 11:33 that morning, Eric texted Kouri Richins, I'm going to lay down for a bit. If I don't start getting better, I'm going to head to the hospital soon. Shortly thereafter, all activity on Eric's cell phone ceased for nearly 90 minutes in the middle of a busy workday. Once activity resumed, Eric Richins called his 2 best friends. They sounded to him scared, somber, confused, bewildered. A few days after that, Kouri Richins asked Carmen Lawver if she could get something stronger. The evidence will prove that on February the 26th, 5 or 6 days before Eric's death, Carmen Lawver, again at Kouri Richins' request, purchased pills from the same street dealer at the same Maverick in Draper. And she left those pills at a home that Kouri Richins was just finishing up a rehab on. The evidence will prove that those illicit pills contained fentanyl. The autopsy and toxicology report showed that Eric Richins died of fentanyl poisoning. He had several times a lethal amount of fentanyl in his blood and more in his stomach. And that extraordinary amount of fentanyl was intentional, not accidental.
Can you pause there?
The evidence will prove that time and again, Kouri Richins.
This is where the toxicologist really had a mic drop moment when the defense was trying to cross-examine her and get her to concede that, if he was a fentanyl user, he might tolerate more fentanyl, and he might not have the same results, but she would not concede to the defense. And it was and I just love that. Do you know what I'm talking about, Mona?
Yeah,
I thought that was really powerful.
There was norfentanyl in his system as well as fentanyl. So that means the fentanyl had partially been processed by his liver. So she's saying he didn't die immediately. So that means he must have been a opiate user. And the woman just went, I don't agree with that.
I disagree. It was kind of like a little more complicated than, but yeah, I loved how I really liked that toxicologist because she stood her ground, and the defense attorney tried like 3 different ways. And when that happens, it really calls attention to the fact that you're wrong, right? So the defense attorney really should have probably let that one go, but I think she thought she was going to be able to convince, like, trick her. She tried really hard, and sometimes I think defense attorneys will lull you into this correct, and you're saying correct, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, not correct on that last thing. I'm sorry, that wasn't correct. Yeah, so they know what they're doing, those attorneys. So I thought that was just a really important one of those mic drop moments, but the defense had some and the prosecution had some too, but the defense gave that one to the prosecution. It wasn't the prosecution doing anything, and the toxicologist was just very good at what she did. So
yeah, she's a strong female scientist that was a no-nonsense woman that was knowledgeable and thoughtful. She wasn't just,
she wasn't going to be pushed.
It was just fabulous. But it sounds like Julia knows a lot about Eric's first wife. I don't know anything about her.
You guys know a lot about these cases. How do you have time? I can't keep up with it. So.
That's super interesting. I mean, I know he didn't have a good experience, which is why he made Kouri sign a prenup. And he didn't marry her until after they already had like a toddler.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. So Josh was homeless and living out of a pickup truck.
Right. Life, like great choices there, Kouri. Like you go from Eric Richins to that.
Yeah.
Another parallel, though, if you look at him in that photo on the, his little
profile picture. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He kind of looks a little like Eric, the way Wendy picked Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
That looked a little like that.
She has a type. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There was a comment here. Oh, yeah. So Lemon Lift Tea mentions the recently deceased handyman. I think it was like 2022. He had a motorcycle accident. The friend, that friend was really a little bit hostile too. She did not want to be there, but it was recent to when Eric was killed. Do you think there's some suspicion there regarding the death of the hand? I know I've heard people say that there's something about that, but it sounded like he was in a motorcycle accident.
So what was the significance of this handyman? Did he provide drugs?
He was on the phone with Kouri. He was he was on speakerphone. Kouri allegedly asked him for fentanyl, but the woman that testified was in the bathroom, and when she came out, her boyfriend or husband, her partner, went, fentanyl, no way, or screw them.
F no. Right.
Like he wasn't messing with it, so it was obvious she was asking.
She was fishing. She was asking many people for this.
The investigators bullied her because they wanted to prepare her for her testimony. And she's like, no, just tell me when to show up. I don't need to. I'm just going to come tell the truth. And this is a woman that's mourning the loss of somebody, and who wants to go on the stand? Nobody would. It must be really icky. So she just said, tell me when to be there. And then the investigators were like, well, you can just show up at 8 o'clock every morning and wait. Or I'll just come by with a pole for your dog and arrest you. Or like, I was like, she's like, what? So she was a good witness, but she didn't want to be there, and they're making the police look pretty bad.
Yeah.
or whoever. It might just be one person that's the bully. I'm not sure. Do you know, Dawn?
I don't know, but yeah, it was a thing. But um, th- I in the lawyer's defense, the prosecutors do need to talk to the witnesses before they go on the stand. They don't need them to go up there and totally blow their case for them. So, not that that justifies what the police were doing, but she did seem a little bit like a hostile witness, which is understandable. I'm not shaming her for that. I'm just saying that's kind of how it came off to me. It's like, well, um, she
I
didn't want to
liked
be.
her.
She didn't want to be there. They wanted her there. There was a story behind it. One of the funniest things I was thinking about was Carmen. I know this we haven't gotten to this yet, but I just it popped into my head. Carmen, the first day with the constant dabbing of the Kleenex and those huge false eyelashes, and I'm like, is she crying or are the eyelashes just too big for her?
Maybe
Because I
it's
think they were just
irritating.
irritating her eyes. It wasn't that she was crying. It was so
Yes.
distracting for me. I was really happy when she came back that she wasn't doing that. She still had the eyelashes on, but she wasn't doing that whole like every 3 seconds with the Kleenex in her face and in her eyes.
That's half of like people on the internet and TV with the spiders on their eyes.
Yeah,
And
but these were like
they all, I can't not look at them on anyone. It's like, it must be
these
so
were so
uncomfortable.
big. I mean, for her face, it just didn't like for her eyes. They didn't fit. It was like she was
Yeah.
wearing, yeah, it was just way
Like totally fake
super
eye
thick and
eyelashes that didn't fit her eyes.
right. Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
fit at all. It was way over the top. Very distracting.
People want to know who is Mona because you don't have a YouTube channel. So would you
She's
to
Donna.
Well, no. She's
I
a
am
true
a-
crime follower.
I'm a trial watcher, and I've ingratiated my way into Dawn and Judy's lives.
We love Mona. She's funny. She's smart.
A retired nurse. Right?
Yeah, very
Oh, right.
knowledgeable.
And
Yep.
look what I have, Judy, just in
Oh, you
case
have your
you
Donna
needed it.
Adelson wig.
Oh my god.
See?
And I almost used that for the profile picture, but I'm like, nah, I'll do something more serious tonight.
Because we're not doing Donna Adelson tonight.
Oh, okay. Oh, darling, prison's terrible.
Harvey only visits me every 2 months. It's a little too long of a drive. He's already 81 years old.
He can't.
Oh,
How
my
does he
God.
get to visit me without somebody helping him? Oh my God.
Gosh.
Oh my God.
I do
he
like-
Was
only
that a
works
question?
5
Was that a
times day.
question?
Yeah. Well, some people have been saying they want us to do some more Donna Adelson comedy and maybe get Kathy to play Judge Everett again.
Oh,
So I don't know if we have more material
know,
to make fun of, though.
maybe wait till the next arrest.
We need
Yeah.
When will that
some
happen?
FOIA docs that are, she has to get in trouble,
Yeah.
you know, and we could do some extemporaneous stuff because she's so easy.
Oh,
But
right.
that's why I didn't do another one, because she was convicted. So
Yeah. It was
what
over.
was left? She
Yeah.
already did her little angry thing. You know,
Yeah.
I just like,
Hey,
we
stay
like
tuned. Stay tuned.
like,
Yeah. Mrs.
We could-
Adelson, control yourself. I love that. But she couldn't control herself. You know?
that was so
I
good.
mean,
Another great judge. I mean, we just love these judges. Yeah.
What a circus, man. That
Yeah.
oh. I'm
Yeah.
surprised that the judge allowed such meanness in her sentencing. That was rough.
Oh, right.
Her and
Right.
Harvey,
Because it has
the
nothing to
friend.
do with anything that seems to be legally correct.
I had a recent experience in court with that kind of situation. I was like, but yeah, I think sometimes judges just feel like, well, this is the person's only chance to express themselves. In her case, her last chance
Well,
to
they don't-
express herself, and they give them their day. Your day in court, as they call it. So, but I thought it was. He did shut it down eventually. I mean, he was tailoring it a little bit, but yeah, it was pretty over the top. for sure.
Well,
Or in
the
Harvey.
most over the top one, I don't have a
Harvey.
YouTube channel. No, was Melody Ferris. And if you see nothing from
Oh,
that
different
trial,
trial. Okay, sorry.
just watch that sentencing. It
Oh,
is shocking and seems highly inappropriate.
which
That
one was that? I'm not sure if I watched that trial.
she killed her husband. She was convicted of it. So I mean, she offed him, and this was in Georgia, and she
Oh, the
had this.
older lady? The
Yeah,
older
yeah,
one?
the one
Yes.
that wore
Okay.
pearls and sat there with her bob and her perfect pearls.
Was
She had some
the
great
lady
defense
who set
attorneys
her
too.
husband on fire and then
Yes,
she
she
tried
put
to
him in a
put
burn
her hand
pile.
over his mouth so he couldn't breathe while
Oh
he was
God.
melting on the
Oh.
driveway?
Oh my
Oh
God.
no, no, oh no, not that one. This one
I
put him in a
can't.
burn pile. She used a little
Oh
tractor
yeah,
and rolled him down the
yeah.
hill.
Okay, gosh, so
And
many
went, "Where's
horrible
Big
cases.
Daddy? We can't find him. Everybody go."
Oh. See, I can only take so many trials and so much of that kind of detail in my life, and I have to just walk away. I don't even listen to the autopsies, but yeah, we
Oh,
shouldn't
that's
be
the best
laughing.
part. No, you have
Yeah,
to,
you
because
you
we're
have to
not laughing at
right.
the tragedy. It's a way of
It
processing
is
such horror because
100%.
isn't comedy based on darkness and
Yes.
satire?
Well, it's
So,
not that it's based on it, but it's just
I
such
mean,
a,
my
it's the same
comedy.
level. Yeah, right. It's the same emotional level, right? Well, I start laughing when I hear about some of these, like when we're, especially when we're together, it's like I start
Well,
laughing when I
especially
hear
when some of the people involved are so
Mhm.
stupid, like,
ridiculous.
for
Yeah,
dumb behavior, like Donna Adelson's crazy behavior,
all of them. Yeah.
or Charlie, his arrogance and
Oh.
his stupid phone calls. So,
Mhm.
Oh,
there's lots
Mavka
of
doesn't believe in the melody thing. She totally did it.
She, yeah, she was
She
Melody.
rode him down the stairs and then onto the tractor. It was all downhill. It wasn't upstairs.
I don't remember that part. I think I tuned out on that one. I don't know if I saw that much of it.
Yeah.
That is dark. That is dark.
I
Mhm.
know, but everybody just thinks they're going to well, probably a lot of people do get away with it.
Mm.
Yeah.
We
Well,
don't know
maybe.
about the ones that,
Right.
well, I mean, we don't even understand why some people aren't indicted yet, correct?
We
Mhm.
don't. But we do.
Right.
We do. We get it.
I
We get
don't
it.
get it. I'm over it, man. I'm not, though, but it's
No,
hard
I'm
to
not
believe.
over it. I'll never be over it. I
Yeah.
will never be over it
Yeah.
till it
Okay.
happens.
Well, you
Okay.
ready to play this?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, thank you. Let's try to just finish this
Yes.
with the state. And
Okay.
yeah, because I have to
We can
get
come
out
back
here.
and do
I'm
the
sorry.
You have a
the
you have a life
defense.
and a family and
Yeah, me too.
responsibility.
Yeah.
I
I
do.
to cover up for attempted murder and ultimate murder of Eric Richins. When confronted with Eric's reaction on Valentine's Day, Kouri Richins text messaged her friend. It was Valentine's Day, and Eric and I were both working from home that day, and I ordered lunch from Mirror Lake. He never broke out in hives or used an EpiPen. I was fucking with him. Bailey was there too. He said the sandwich hurt his stomach, so he was going to nap. No hives, no EpiPen. Kouri Richins is an hour away from Eric Richins with her boyfriend. Regarding the morning of Eric Richins' death, Kouri Richins wrote in a notebook that she entered their room at 3:20 a.m. She saw that when she nudged Eric, nothing happened. She grabbed her phone and called 911. She first grabbed her phone at least 3:06 a.m. and delayed calling 911 at least 15 minutes. The evidence will also prove that Kouri Richins had a guilty conscience. The morning that Eric died, his family came over. Kouri Richins could not face her children or Eric's dad, Eric Richins. She didn't speak. A few days after Eric's death, Kouri Richins and her boyfriend, Josh, they drove into the Uintas and talked about Eric's death for the first time. Kouri Richins asked Josh, while serving in Iraq, did you ever kill anyone? When he responded, she asked, how did that make you feel? Along the lines of both cover up and guilty conscience, Kouri Richins' text messages and other data from Kouri Richins' phone for the 2 months leading up to Eric Richins' death and a week or two after have all been deleted. Police seized that phone. She got a new phone. And on that new phone, there were the following internet searches. Can cops uncover deleted messages iPhone? Can you delete everything off an old iPhone without actually having it? Can deleted text messages be retrieved from an iPhone? How to completely wipe an iPhone clear remotely? How to permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely? On April the 13th, 2022, about 5 weeks after Eric Richins' death, detectives informed Kouri Richins that the autopsy and toxicology results show that Eric died of fentanyl poisoning. Thereafter, searches on her phone include: if someone is poisoned, what does it go down on the death certificate as? Can cops force you to do a lie detector test? Women, Utah prison, luxury prisons for the rich in America. Almost a year after Eric Richins' death, when Kouri Richins knew the police were investigating her for his death, Kouri Richins published a children's book on how to deal with the loss of a parent. And she promoted that children's book on local television and local radio.
This is so crazy.
The state will present to you this evidence and more through a series of fact witnesses, expert witnesses, documents, and Kouri Richins' own words. As you evaluate the evidence and you consider it and you weigh it, let me offer 4 recommendations. The first is the evidence will prove that Kouri Richins murdered Eric Richins, but also consider the evidence that proves that Eric Richins did not kill himself or die accidentally. The evidence will prove that Kouri Richins had the means, motive, and opportunity to murder Eric Richins. But please consider the evidence that proves no one else did. Consider the evidence leading up to Eric Richins' death that proves that Kouri Richins murdered him, but also consider the evidence after Eric's death that also proves it. As you evaluate Kouri Richins' conduct, consider the evidence that proves that she richly values and trades on her perceived appearance, affluence, privilege, and success. Let me please highlight 2 of the judge's instructions that he just provided. The first is stay focused on the evidence. What the attorneys say, how they say it, their voice inflection, none of that is evidence. Please stay focused on the evidence. Please take notes. As he said, you will probably only hear from a witness one time, and that is when the witness testifies. At the end of the trial, I'll stand back up here. And in closing argument, we will analyze the evidence. We will apply it to the elements that the judge instructed you on. And the state of Utah will ask you to find Kouri Darden Richins guilty of the aggravated murder of Eric Richins, the attempted aggravated murder of Eric Richins, 2 counts of insurance fraud, and forgery. Back for a moment to the morning of March the 4th, 2022. It is 8:30. Medical examiners place Eric's body in a body bag onto a stretcher, and they wheel him out of his home for the last time. His boys are upstairs with their uncle. Kouri Richins has not yet told them that Eric is dead, and she won't for a few more hours. The last of the sheriff's deputies leave, crime scene techs, medical examiners, and on Kouri Richins' phone, the following 3 images are accessed. Yes.
We need Katie to be careful.
She is. The black screen at the moment is the same time.
No, let's start with the emergency. My husband's not breathing. He's cold. Okay, what's the address?
He's cold.
282 Willow Court. 282 Willow Court. Okay, what's the good phone number in case we get disconnected? 435-671-1987. Okay, it's going to be in Francis. Okay, tell me exactly what happened. No, I don't know. I was sleeping with my kids. Okay, I can't understand you. I need you to take a deep breath. What's going on? I don't know. I was sleeping with my kids. I just came in our bed, and I turned over, and he's just cold. He's just cold. Who's cold? My husband. I turned the light off. He's not breathing? He's not breathing? I need you to confirm it for me. Is he not breathing? Okay, can you do CPR? No, I don't know how. You don't know, I'm going to tell you how to. Are you willing to do CPR? Yeah. Okay.
Those were the sounds of a wife becoming a widow. 6.5 hours before that terrible phone call, Eric and Kouri Richins were in that same bedroom, and they were celebrating. They were celebrating because Kouri was about to close on the biggest real estate deal that her company had ever done.
Okay, I guess the way the trial channel put this together, it just went straight into the defense.
Right.
So I was like, huh, why's that lady?
Right. I really liked how the prosecutor added in that it wasn't suicide. So he
Or
had
accidental. Yeah.
exactly ahead of time. So they know what's coming. They know what they're facing. So
I think that's because also, Dawn, they didn't write on the autopsy. It was undetermined.
oh, of course,
So
right. Yeah.
no,
They don't
but
know.
usually they'll go homicide. The person.
Oh,
was
right.
blind,
Well,
but they're not.
no, I don't think so. Not when they don't know. I mean, not when it's something like this. You wouldn't know unless you're there. You wouldn't know. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how long is this supposed to last? Like 3,
Is it 4 or 6 weeks?
Oh, that's a long
I think it's moving pretty quickly. It
Yeah,
depends
they
on-
always kind of overestimate too, so probably won't last that long. But I think that's the estimate. Yeah, the wife became a witch was interesting. Whether witch became a wife, it's not that they became. What is it, a witch or a wife with that graphic? That
Oh, right.
that
Like
the
it's a
defense. Yes, I'm
bunny
just
or a dog.
responding to a comment
Right,
here from
right,
Alina.
right.
Yeah,
Oh,
5
okay.
weeks. Yeah,
Primetime KCL, you know this case so well. So
she does.
If you want to be on the show, please let me know. That would be great. Thank
Right.
you.
Right.
Yeah. Isn't it kind of like strange how like some of these cases you get so invested and then bam, it's over. Then it's like, hey, what's the next one? Oh, bam, it's over. You know, like that whole Banfield thing. I spent so much time delving
Wow.
into that case, and now it's over and it's old news and stuff. And
Sure.
it's it's kind of disconcerting being jerked around from case to case where you're like totally invested in it, and then suddenly no one wants to talk about it anymore. Yeah, but
I feel like I need to take breaks after
Yeah.
these because it's
It's
just so
exhausting.
emotionally. Yeah, it's a lot. So I have to pick and choose. But yeah, I'm kind of glad they end usually in the right way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like when it's not super long, but I took a break after Donna's trial. I just
Sure, me too. Big break.
But there's trials going that I followed years ago while we're waiting to go to trial. So then you have to kind of
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
we're going to have Susanna Morphew in the future. That's been going on in the background, you know.
Oh, what's
Yeah.
that?
You don't know
Oh,
Barry Morphew and Susanna.
Barry Morphew, like probably offed his wife. That's what's alleged. And
Alleged, yes.
dumped her body somewhere in the mountains
They
for
found her
nobody to
eventually.
find. And
Yeah.
then they arrested him, and then they released him. And then when they found her bones, they arrested him again because her bones had type of drug that he was the only non-medical person in the state that had
Veterinarian
access to.
medicine, right? And they dismissed his charges because of prosecutorial misconduct, and so they recharged him in a whole different district because of where her body was found. So there's a lot of really interesting legal implications in that one too. If you're interested in the
But
nerdy
look,
stuff.
Primetime knows again. She knows everything.
Yeah.
I like
You
that.
follow
Or he.
everything.
She or he.
That's right. That's right. It's
But
coming up. Yep.
Yeah. What
I
about
just,
that Maya Millette case? Is that March?
That's March 26th, and I'm finishing up the pre-trial on my channel in shortly. Actually, I'll be going back up with the police and the investigators' testimony from the pre-trial hearing to prep everybody, so that I have the whole pre-trial. That was like almost like a trial pre-trial. It was very long, so that's coming up on March 26th. So I'll hopefully attend some of that. I would hope. And I've been attending all the hearings virtually too on that one.
Thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
so much for summarizing things and teaching us,
welcome.
because I don't have time to seek out all these
Sure.
other cases. And that case, for some reason, it hasn't gotten a ton of national
It will. It will.
attention.
It will.
Yeah.
It will.
Who
I
is-
think
who
because
is-
of all the delays and it's way down in the corner of California where it's not. But I think that law and crime are all over it, and because of that, it'll get a lot of attention. And the local news is all over it. So I think I think we'll get there.
Well, because they could say missing body, mother of
Right.
how many?
Two.
Three, right?
She still hasn't
Two.
been found. Right.
Was it
Yeah.
two kids?
Missing body murder.
Yes,
So,
that's
I
right,
mean,
Julia. Julia, you're going to see me and Carla, who will hopefully be there as well. Undoubtedly will be there. So yeah, and maybe Mona will even come down. I'm trying to get her to
I
come
don't
down.
think so. I have jury duty coming up.
Oh, how fun! I mean, how interesting.
Oh, they probably won't pick me. Are
Yeah,
you kidding?
I know. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. I can't wait
Well,
to meet
good.
everyone.
I know.
Yeah.
What if I get to do like they might indict that David guy, and it could be
Mhm.
something like that.
That would be.
you know?
You
'Cause
have
it's
to be.
downtown. Yeah.
You can't tell anyone.
They're not going to keep me for anything. Do you watch true crime? Yes.
Yeah,
Do you go online and comment? Yes.
I know. I know. Yeah.
Oh,
We'll
so
see you
here's
in
a
March.
question, Dawn. So I did read somewhere that Maya had an affair, but it sounded like it was sort of over by the time she was killed. So
Right. There was a couple of accusations from Larry that she was fraternizing with some coworkers, actually people that were that were beneath her level in. I'm sorry, my words aren't coming. I'm really tired. But and Larry, her husband, made these accusations to her management, so there were investigations, and it impacted her work situation and her reputation at work. So it was very damaging to her. Nothing was really proven ever. And if you watch the pre-trial hearing on my channel, you'll see the testimony about that, and it's like, was she having an affair? Was she just talking to? But there were some text messages exchanged with another married man. They were both married, that were pretty, intimate. But evidently, when that was pretty questionable, that she probably had a little dalliance going on. When Larry really addressed her and confronted them together, they were sitting out in a car at her work, and he followed her to work and he confronted them. That was the end of it. And she went back to him and tried to work it all out and left the affair and all that. But then he accused her of having another one after that, which I think was just him being paranoid.
yeah, he
Wouldn't
could
that
just
add more to the
well,
motive, though? So it shouldn't be damaging.
Sorry, I heard what?
Wouldn't
You're
it add more to the motive if she was?
Sure.
So,
Sure.
I mean,
Oh, and also he saw that she had done some sort of intake form to contact a divorce attorney.
That was a big deal.
I
That was
love
the
that.
big
That was an
deal.
excellent clerk, or whoever answered the phone.
The
She was
receptionist,
great.
yes,
She was
that's
fabulous. What a good-
that's the first witness in the pretrial hearing, and it's very powerful, because Maya called the divorce attorney. She was setting up an appointment. She just wanted to get through the weekend where it was their oldest child's birthday. They were going to celebrate in Big Bear here, the mountains here, and she never made it because he got wind of that. The really sad thing about it is the receptionist sent her the intake form via email, and to this day feels guilty because she believes that Larry found that email because he was tracking her calls, he was tracking her emails, he was tracking her location, and she feels really guilty because she sent this intake form to Maya via email, and
Yeah.
he found it. Evidently, that's what the thought process is. I'm not sure if there'll be evidence of that or not, but and he took action, and she was never seen again. She
Wasn't
never
he
made it to the
abusive
divorce.
in general, though, and it was pretty miserable for her for a long-
Mentally, financial abuse
Right.
and mental abuse. Yeah.
He was very
Not
controlling.
physically. No, he is absolutely not out of jail. He's been waiting, thankfully, in jail in San Diego this entire time for a trial. No, he has not been released. He was also charged with He was charged with federal crimes for owning a non-registered automatic. He had a whole cache
He had
of
a
weapons.
lot of
He was going to go out in with a bang, but they got him. They arrested him, thankfully, without incident. I mean, the whole city was on pins and needles when this was happening because they were waiting for him to be arrested. He probably knew he was going to be arrested, but thankfully he didn't. But he had a lot of automatic rifles and semi-automatics that are supposed to be like specially registered, I guess. And he was also issued a gun violence restraining order because of that. So it gets to be into some gun charges as well as the murder. Yeah, so it's a little bit more. And what's interesting about this trial here that we're talking about is the parallels with Lori Daybell, because the forgery, the financial crimes associated with the murder charges with Kouri Richins and Lori Daybell, are very, very many parallels there as well. So
And the
weird.
mom that you're suspicious of jumping in going, he wanted to be cremated.
Right.
Right. That was Lori's go-to. Cremate
Yeah.
all my husbands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
there's no
suspicious.
evidence. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Well,
You know what? When we were talking about doing like trials and they're over, I completely forgot I watched the Brian Walsh trial. Did you?
oh yeah, that's right. I watched
That
that.
was like
Yeah.
such a great trial, and that wasn't it was dragged out to start, but they moved very quickly through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad that's over.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty obvious that he did it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
was
who has Maya's children?
Her
What-
sister, thankfully.
Well, it started out, this was what's really sad about it too, because like Wendy's and Dan's children, they ended up going with, basically, even though Wendy wasn't arrested, they were with Donna, the grandmother, right, of the person who was ultimately convicted for murdering the father. And this is very similar with Miami Liete. And so Larry
And that
wanted
Kentucky case.
his parents to have the children, and ultimately his parents screwed up so badly, long story short, that Maya's sister did get them temporary custody. I don't think it's been finalized yet, about 2024, and they're doing very well. So that was a good move. But thankfully, but I get really mad when the children go to the accused's family and the convicted's family, and that is very common in these cases. It's very sad
Yeah.
because they get
Crystal
brainwashed.
Crystal Rogers' kid.
Exactly,
went with-
exactly. That one really infuriates me. It's to this day that boy is with his mother, and there still may be charges coming on that one. So stay tuned.
Who has Judy's kids?
Huh?
Who has
said, "Who has
Judy's?
Judy's
I better
kids?"
go because I'm not being a good mother now. I gotta
Yes.
go and take care of
Yeah.
family matters. But it's so great to see you guys, Mona.
Yeah,
we,
it's been a
we had
while.
such a great time meeting in person.
Oh
for
yeah,
the
we,
first
we had a
time,
good lobby
like
visit.
2 weeks ago. when
Oh,
I
that's
was in
right.
Los
That's right. You were
Angeles.
in LA. Were you there for Chinese New Year's?
Sort of.
No,
Well,
it was
really,
right
is because
before.
yeah, my nephew is a student at USC.
Mhm.
So I went there with my sister and we went
Nice.
to go visit and
Oh, great.
cousin and some
That's
friends and
fantastic.
stuff. So yeah, it's great. Hopefully someday I'll meet you too, Dawn. So
Oh, yeah, we'll meet for the Wendy trial. I'm convinced.
I know. I'm still
Wait a
still
minute, aren't we
thinking like
taking a bus over, like for picking everybody up in the West and heading
caravan.
over to Florida? Yeah,
I don't know if I can handle a bus to Florida, but I like the
it's gonna be a
concept.
luxury one. It's gonna be great.
I like the concept for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a great weekend and hopefully
Bye,
we
Chat.
can find time to get back again to
Yeah, maybe we can
continue
do the
discussing.
defense opening sometime.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks
good.
for inviting
Have a
me.
great
Bye,
night.
everyone. Bye,
Bye.
chat.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.